Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It's now time for the final bit of actions today, and it comes from the first race of the Season 4 IFMC GP3 Championship. And here for race 1 here at Barcelona, 16 laps of action coming your way. If you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday, it was very close, but in the end it was Ferdinand Habsburg in Auto Jamaica's first outing to take pole position for the race. Alongside him, Josef Newgarden and the Dacia Dorado Jr. managing second, with Robert Kubica on his return to IFMC GP3, locking out the top 3. And, well, it's looking to be a very interesting race. 16 laps of action coming your way. And, well, we can't wait to get underway for the first race of this brand new season for these guys. And my computer decides to hibernate there. I do apologise, try to fall asleep. So, anyway, guys, before we start, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for race 1 here in Barcelona. Here we go then. So on pole position, it's Ferdinand Habsburg with Josef Newgarden in second. Robert Kubica lines up in third with Will Power in fourth. Daniil Kvyat lines up in fifth with Lucas Di Grassi in sixth position. Sebastian Buemi starts 7th, alongside him Jack Aitken in the Willows Racing car in 8th. Jenson Button starts in 9th with Nick Heidfeld in 10th position. Alexander Rossi will start 11th, alongside him Marco Andretti in the Auto Jamaica car is in 12th. Michael Elation starts 13th with Felipe Nasser in the Shadow Racing car 14th. Nico Kari will start 15th, alongside him Daniil in 16th position. Antoine Hubert is 17th, and alongside him is Aero Vigno in 18th in the Soemi Racing car. Santina Ferrucci 19th with Carl Kaiser in 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Anthony Davidson and Antonio Fuoco. And that is the grid for race 1 here in Barcelona. So there is the grid then, guys, for race 1 here in Barcelona. Let's see what the weather is like. And it is bright and sunny, so it has remained the same conditions as it was for the feature race in IFMC GP2. So leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to race 1 here in Barcelona. So here we are then. Here on the grid, it's Habsburg on the left, Rosenquist on the sorry, not Rosenquist, Habsburg on the left, Newgarden on the right. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go after signifying the start of the new season for IFMC GP3. 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights, 5 lights are on, and the Season 4 Championship for IFMC GP3 is underway, and it seems to be a good start from the front two. Who's got a better start between Habsburg and Newgarden? It looks like Newgarden's got a better start compared to Habsburg as they go down towards turn 1. Has Newgarden got the edge on Habsburg as they head down towards turn 1? Side by side they go, and he has. Newgarden takes the lead as Kubica tries to find a way through on Habsburg into turn 1. Habsburg fends him off now then. Good start from Grassi, he's up to 4th, and a good start from Jack Aitken, who gets up to 6th. Attacking power for 5th. Not a good start from Kvyat, who's down in 7th place at the moment as they now go around turn 3 at this stage now then. But as you can see, it's Newgarden who leads, Habsburg 2nd, Kubica in 3rd, Di Grassi 4th, Power 5th, Aitken 6th, Kvyat 7th, Andretti, who's had a good start, moves up into 8th place as now they go through the left-hander on the track now then, heading down the hill towards turn 6 and 7 now then. As you can see, Kubica right onto the backside of Ferdinand Habsburg, as is Lucas Di Grassi, as they all now go through the right hand of Habsburg, having to fend off from 2 sets of cars now, then as they head down the straight towards the left hander now then on the track. And Newgarden doing a good job out in front now, keeping back Ferdinand Habsburg at the moment, pulling away I should say, as Habsburg's having to fend off from Robert Kubica as they now head up towards the final 3 corners on the track. And let's see if Kubica is able to get close enough to the back of Ferdinand Habsburg now then as they head up towards the final 2 corners on the track then, in towards the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Robert Kubica. Is he able to get the move done on Ferdinand Habsburg as Newgarden sets an early fastest lap? Kubica now then looking to the inside of Ferdinand Habsburg. Is he going to get the move done on the young Austrian? Side by side to go goes Kubica and Habsburg in towards turn 1. Have they got the place? And he has. Kubica up into 2nd place. He gets the move done and up into P2 goes Kubica. Now to Grassi is all over the backside as Aitken's up to fifth, and we got a yellow flag. Why have we got a yellow flag down at turn 1? We have a yellow down at turn 1, and let's see who is the culprit down at turn 1. Did it involve maybe Daniil Kvyat? Let's have a look as I go down towards turn 1, and oh, it was one of the, oh my goodness me, it was a big crash from Marco Andretti. Kvyat involved, as who was that Kennystar Motorsport car that caused that incident? Was it Sebastian Buemi by any chance that caused the crash? As they go down towards the first few corners, you can see their Kubica making a move there, and it was Buemi. He's right behind these two, and that was a very clumsy move from Sebastian Buemi. That will have to be investigated for sure. And wow, that's that really. Buemi being very clumsy there down into turn 1, and wow, that's that really. And Kvyat is now trying to get himself moving again. He's lost a bit of rear wing, and well, that brings Andretti out of the race. We're down to 21, whereas Buemi, that's going to have to be investigated, that collision. And let's see, Kvyat obviously kind of trying to rejoin then. It looks like he got himself involved in a spin on the wide line there and having to wait for everybody to go through again. In fact, it looks like Ferrucci might have clipped him as a result. And, well, I don't know if that was done intentionally or not. There was nothing seen on the camera, so sadly no investigations there. But that turn 1 incident is being under investigated, that's for sure, as Kvyat and Ferrucci are... As Kvyat and Ferrucci having to come back into the pits to repair their damage. Ferrucci for a new front wing in the AYP racing car, and Kvyat for a new rear wing on the back of his car. So their races have gone down the toilet. Buemi, of course, involved in that accident. He looked to be the cause of that, and it looks like he's going to be under investigation for that. Meantime, Habsburg back on the prowl of Kubica, and De Grassi's even in that frame as well. Meantime, Power retakes 5th from Aitken, down in towards turn 5 and moves back up into 5th place. Back up to 5th goes Will Power in the Dacia Dorado Juniors. Meantime, now Habsburg all over the backside of Kubica, trying to retake 2nd from the KR Racing driver as they go down the pit straight. De Grassi looking on to see if there's any advantage he could take as they go down towards turn 1. Newgarden saying another fast lap of 1:23.449, heading down towards the pit straight. Will Habsburg get the place back of Robert Kubica? Head down towards turn 1. Kubica fends off as out goes Sebastian Buemi. What's happened to Buemi? Let's try and find him. And Buemi is, where is he on the track? And oh, he's had another crash with Kvyat again. This is unbelievable stuff. We need to see what on earth happened. Buemi has had a huge crash down at turn 9. That looks like, and oh my goodness me, I don't know who caused that time. I don't know if Buemi caused another accident there or whether Kvyat caused it this time. We'll have to have a look as both of them have now found themselves out of the race, and it looked like that Buemi pretty much gave Kvyat no room, it appeared. We'll have to have a look from Kvyat's perspective to see what on earth happened there. But Kvyat's race has been ruined. He's going to have to pit for a new front wing and rear wing now. And yeah, it looked like that Buemi must have squeezed Kvyat there because Kvyat was already alongside him. So another investigation there which involves Buemi and Kvyat. And the second is that Kvyat's got involved with Sebastian Buemi. Buemi now finds himself out of the race, and I wouldn't be surprised if Buemi is in deep water after that one. And, well, that's pretty much that, really. It's meantime now, Habsburg all over the backside of Kubica. Will he try and get the place of Kubica now? Then Habsburg back down the inside of the Polish driver. Will he get the move done? Ferrucci into the pits to repair his front wing as they now go down towards the left-hander now then. Kubica still sticking with Habsburg at this stage. Kubica trying to fend him off at this stage. They go side by side down towards that left turn and now down towards turn 6 and 7. It looks like Kubica's going to hang it off, but Habsburg breaking that tad bit later, trying to hang it around the outside. Can Habsburg pull off the move? And that is a beautiful pass from the young Austrian. And Habsburg back up into 2nd place. And now Kubica having to fend off from De Grassi as De Grassi's now all over the backside of Robert Kubica. Will he try and grab 3rd from him? No, he can't. Habsburg again defending from Kubica. As the meantime, Button finds himself into points in front of Michael. Down the inside goes Felipe Nasr on Alexander Rossi. Nasr up into 10th place. As a result of that overtake now then, as they go through these sectional corners, Kvyat into a place of front and rear wing, so he's able to get the car going, but he now finds himself a lap down behind Josef Newgarden. As a result, Newgarden setting another fastest lap of the race, so now on lap 4 of 16, so 13 laps to go for race leader Josef Newgarden as they now head down towards turn 1 on the track. Meantime, can Kubica try and find a way back through on Habsburg? Doesn't look close enough, and De Grassi isn't close enough to the back of Kubica as Power is now starting to close onto this battle for second, so another car starting to join into the frame in this battle for second, and even Aitken and and Heidfeld are starting to close up. Meantime, Elation all over the backside of Button for P8. Meantime, as Hubert takes 11th from Alexander Rossi, so up into 11th place goes Antoine Hubert as his teammate having to fight for second place at this stage. And now Aravini trying to close up onto Rossi as best as he can now then. Meantime, through the left-hander we go now then. Newgarden with a bit of a gap in front at this stage as they head down the hill towards the turn 6 and 7 complex now then. As they will now approach towards the right-hander on the track. And now at the corner. And Kubica now losing time to Ferdinand Habsburg, and even Grassi starting to lose time to Kubica at the moment. The man currently involved in his first outing with American Engineering, one of the new teams in IFMC GP3. And so far, Auto Jamaica, KR Racing and American Engineering doing a good job as well. So Remy Racing, who returned this season, so far languishing outside the points, not having a good debut, but having a decent one, getting up further than what they did in qualifying. As meantime, Elation still stuck behind Button. Looks like Button's starting to respond a little bit. And now Nazar is starting to close up onto Elation. Meantime, Rossi back on the prowl of Antoine Hubert for P11 as they now go through in towards the final corner. Will Rossi try and find their way back through on Antoine Hubert as they head down towards the first few corners on track. Then he tucks up into his slipstream now then. He looks to the inside. Will Rossi get the job done on Antoine Hubert as he head down towards the first few corners on the track? Down the inside he'll go. But Hubert, as you can see, that just shuts the door on Hubert. Keeps hold of 11th place. Vinio unable to capitalise, and even Daniil Apti started to close him up for 13th place. Kaiser having a fight with Nico Kari for P15 at the moment for Wacko, and Davison trying to catch up as best as possible. And Ferrucci, there he is down in 19th place. Of course, Kvyat a lap down. And Ferrucci and Kvyat's race effectively ruined. And the yellow flag is Hubert and Rossi have made contact down at the right-hander. What has happened there this time? That's maybe a third investigation in towards the right-hander. And it just looked like Hubert just turned into him there. Just didn't notice that Rossi was there. And both of them punted off there. Rossi was already on the inside. And it just looked like that Hubert just wasn't paying attention. And just turns right into him. So that will have to be investigated for sure between those two there then. As they have both races have now been compromised. Luckily, the pair of them did not sustain any damage, but still, their races have been thrown down the toilet, and that's the third investigation that needs to be done in this GP3 race. It's pretty much a back-to-school feeling for these guys in a way, and a lot of clumsy mistakes being done around here as a result. And, well, that's that really, as Rossi trying to get moving again. And he gets moving and rejoins down in 18th place as a result. Has Antoine beached the car. It looks like he's struggling to move. And you can see he's moving the wheels, but the car just isn't moving. It's Hubert's race over as well. And he tries to move as best as possible. And is the race over the young Frenchman? And it is. He's beached the car. Antoine Hubert is out of the race. And we're down to 19 runners. Of course, those 3 incidents will have to be investigated after the race. The Boemi, Kvyat, and Andretti won. The Boemi and Kvyat won. And now the Rossi Hubert won. So an incident there having to be investigated there. Meantime, Newgarden is on lap 6 of 60 in the moment as Habsburg tries to close him back in, but so far there's just pretty much too much big of a gap at the moment between himself and Newgarden at this stage as they go through the right-hander. Meantime, Power is now starting to close up on Lucas Di Grassi for P4, the man that finished runner-up last season when he was driving for Pennzoil Grand Prix, now driving for his new team, Dacia Dorado Jr., formerly known as Vegeta Racing, and trying to see if he can make it a double podium finish for Dacia Dorado Jr., as it looks like the pair of them have got a very strong lineup that could challenge for this championship this season in IFMC GP3, but we will wait and see as the season progresses, as we've still got including this race, still 10 weekends. Anything could still happen in any of those weekends. And anything happens in racing, and it usually does. As in towards the left-hander then goes Will Power, as he tries to close in onto Lucas Di Grassi for P4 in the race now then, as they go through the final 3 corners on the track. And that's that really, as they come out of the corner, heading up towards the final 2 corners then goes Will Power. Aitken looking good in 6th, Heidfeld looking strong in 7th, Button looking strong in 8th. Looks like everybody in the top 8 at the moment has sort of spread themselves out, so not really much battling going on in the top 8. Elation starting to lose time now to Jenson Button as a result. Button now the only Pennzoil Grand Prix car in the points as a result of what's happened to Kvyat during this race. Meantime now, Nazar's starting to close in a bit now onto Michael Elation for P9 in this race. It's unseen by the cameras. Vinio's up to 11th, Apt up to 12th, and Kari up to 13th. Kaiser 14th and Fawako 15th, as Kvyat's now trying to unlap himself. A lot of positions gained as a result of Rossi and Hubert's contact. That incident, of course, being under investigation. As a result of 3 incidents to investigate during this IFMC GP3 race, as they now go through in towards turn 6 and 7 on the track as they go through towards the right hand. I'll be interested to see what the gap is like between the top 2 of Newgarden and Habsburg at the moment, and as they now will approach the left-hander on the track, we will see what the gap is like between these two quite soon now then, as Habsburg flicks the car in through towards turns 9 and 10 on the track, and then up towards the final 3 corners he will go. And so now going up towards the final corner, final 2 corners goes Habsburg and Newgarden. Let's see what the gap is like, as we are now on lap 8 of 16. So including this lap that Newgarden started, we now have 9 laps to go in race 1 here in IFMC GP3. And as they now go up towards turn 1 on the track, and the gap is 2 seconds between Habsburg and Newgarden, and that's that really. And so through towards turn 3 now, then we go, and that's that really at this stage, as meantime Naza not close enough to the back of the legion at this stage of the race. As meantime Kvyat unlapping himself on Fawako. He wants to finish on the same lap as everybody else, but I think he's going to find it tough with only 9 laps remaining in this race. So that's that really. I think he's going to finish a lap down as a result. As now Rossi goes up towards turn 1, down in 17th place at this stage, as we look at Josef Newgarden, who just came out of that right-hander, and up towards the left-hander he will go. And obviously, like with GP2, IFMC GP3 for the first time this season will be using the Bridgestone tyres, after Goodyear pulled out at the end of season 3. Bridgestone now the only sole tyre supplier for IFMC GP2 and GP3. So all 3 categories are using the Bridgestone tyres as a result. And GP3 so far, it seems that everybody seems to have got to grips with the Bridgestone tyres. Well, some people, because some people are still acting a little bit clumsy. Like I said, it's a little bit of a back-to-school feeling for the IFMC GP3 boys. And some mistakes are bound to happen. As meantime now then, we now have 8 laps to go for race leader Newgarden. There's Habsburg there, just took a 10th out of Newgarden's lead there, so the gap is now down to 1.9 seconds between the top 2. So that's currently how it stands at this race, as Habsburg now then just goes around turn number 3 on the track, as he will now approach the turn 4, as he tries everything to try and catch up to Newgarden before the end of the race. So we could have a battle for the lead, but we will wait and see on that anyway. So we now go through the section of corners, everybody keeping it clean. It seems that everybody has kind of calmed down a little bit into a rhythm, as mentioned, Kvyat trying to unlap himself at this stage of the race. Kubica looking strong in 3rd place on his return to IFMC GP3, and that's despite the fact that he's got a paralysed arm, as we know from his crash he had back in 2011 in a nasty rally accident, which nearly had his arm amputated. But back in an open wheel car and looking fast as ever as a result. He was here in season 2, but didn't perform well. But now, after a season out, he's back and he's definitely performing up to his best that we know Robert to be. Currently lying in 3rd place at the moment and looking good to get his 2nd IFMC GP3 podium. His last podium came in season 2, in fact, at Mars Grand Prix. I believe it was at Silverstone. I believe his last podium came at. So just a little bit of some history for you there about Robert Kubica in this series. What's the gap between Habsburg and Newgarden, as we have 7 laps to go on lap 10 of 16 now here in Barcelona? The gap remains the same at 1.9 seconds, so both Newgarden and Habsburg lapping around about the same pace as each other in this race now then, as now we go up towards turn 4 on the track. And Habsburg still trying every can. Out goes Alexander Rossi. Alexander Rossi is out of the race. What's happened to Rossi? The Season 1 IFMC GP2 champion. What's happened to him? And there he is. It's an engine failure, ending Rossi's unfortunate day here in Barcelona. And Alexander Rossi is out of the race, and we're down to 18 runners as a result. We've had 4 retirements now in the form of Andretti, Buemi, Hubert, and now Rossi. So we're now down to 18 runners as a result, as Rossi retires with a blown engine. As a result, as they now head down towards turn 6 and 7 on the track, Habsburg doing whatever he can to close up onto the back of of Newgarden's car. There is Rossi's stricken Willows Racing car on the sidelines there, away from the action. The marshals feel that it's in a safe area, not to warrant them to hoist it over the barriers. So that's that really, and Rossi will have to start near the back of the field for tomorrow's race 1, which will be the first thing on tomorrow at 1 PM BST before the sprint race for GP2 and the 65-lap Spanish Grand Prix. So now Habsburg through towards the second to last corner. He will go up towards the final corner, then goes the Austrian. Has he gained some time onto Newgarden, as we now have 6 laps remaining in this race 1 here in Barcelona? And let's see now what's the gap between the top 2 of Newgarden and Habsburg as we now head in towards the first 3 corners on track, and it's still 1.9 seconds, both lapping around about the same pace as each other in this race now then. Meantime, Button doing a good job in 8th place. As I've said, not really any battles. Well, I say that, well, that is Kvyat. In fact, Kvyat just unlapped himself in the form of Nico Kari there. So, no, not Nico Kari. That is Kyle Kaiser who's trying to unlap himself by. I don't know how I got an Horizon Motorsport car and a Suomi Racing car confused there. So, but it happened. As now Kvyat unable to unlap himself. Kaiser saying no to that as a result, and maintaining his ground at the moment as he's trying everything he can to catch up to Nico Kari in front. Again, Kvyat trying to unlap himself, but again Kaiser having none of it. As everybody's trying to spread themselves out. Davison doing all he can to try and close up onto Fawako, but so far it doesn't appear to be happening for him at this stage. But meantime, if you've only just joined us, we now have 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 laps to go once Newgarden crosses the line, and this is what the leaderboard looks like. It's Newgarden who leads, from Habsburg in 2nd, Kubica 3rd, Grassi 4th, Power 5th, Aitken in 6th, with Heidfeld 7th, Button in 8th, Elation 9th, Nazar 10th, Vineer 11th, Apton 12th, with Kari 13th, Kaiser in 14th position, and Kvyat is in 18th and trying to unlap himself. For Wako 15th, Davison 16th, Ferrucci 17th, and as mentioned, Kvyat in 18th position. The 4 retirements that we had are Rossi, Hubert, Boemi, and Andretti. They have been the 4 retirements of the race so far. 5 laps to go for race leader Josef Newgarden out in front, and it looks like the gap has remained the same between the top 2 at this stage. Habsburg, so far, the man that started on pole position for this race, just hasn't got a response for Josef Newgarden at this stage of the race. And so far, I believe the pair of them will be equal on points in the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, Newgarden will lead it early on because, of course, he's had a victory, whereas Habsburg hasn't. As they now head down towards turn 6 and 7 on the track, through the left and right-hander we go now. Then as we'll now go up towards the right-hander on the track, as Kubica looking quite lonely in 3rd place, keeping the gap solid between himself and Lucas Di Grassi in the American engineering car. As we now go up towards the left-hander on the track, and now up towards the left-hander we go, and now out of the corner heading up towards the final 3 corners on the track we go, and now just swooping the car in through the right-hander up towards the second to last corner will go Lucas Di Grassi, and as you can see, we'll have a look and see what the gap is like anyway between Habsburg and Newgarden, as we now have 4 laps remaining in this race. Lap 13 of 16 we're now on here in race 1 as we now approach the first 3 corners of the track. We are 7 minutes away from the 4 o'clock mark, and Habsburg has actually taken 2 tenths out of that time out of Newgarden's lead, so the gap is now down to 1.7 seconds between the pair of them there. So Habsburg has gained a little bit there, and now he has gained 2 tenths on him that time around. And that's that really at this stage. So now we have 4 laps remaining in this race as they go down towards the left-hander on the track. And Habsburg doing whatever he can to try and find a way through on Josef Newgarden for the lead of this race. Trying to find a way through on the 2017 IndyCar champion in real life. As Habsburg going up towards the right-hander on the track. And that's that really, is now Kubica going through that corner, as he does whatever he can to get hold of Habsburg in this race. And now through towards the left-hander we go, up towards the final 3 corners will go Kubica and Habsburg. And Kubica looking good to get a podium, unless something goes wrong. In that case, Di Grassi will try and pick up the spoils in the American engineering car as they go through the final few corners on track. 3 laps remaining then for Josef Newgarden in the Dacia Dorado Junior, and it's the 3rd name that the team has ran in the first ever season, which was season 2 as we called it. They were known as Legion Racing. Then in Season 3 they were known as Vegeta Racing, and now this season they're just known as Dacia Eldorado Junior. The reason why they're called Dacia Eldorado Junior is because Dacia is the main sponsor, and Dacia has put an input into their name for this. So that's that really, is they just go around the section of corners now then, and up towards the left-hander we will go. And so out of the corner now then, heading down towards turn 6 and 7 on the track we will go. And so now just getting the car turned in towards these corners. As mentioned, there is Ross's car, which pulled off a little bit earlier on thanks to a blown engine, which will mean he'll start 19th in tomorrow's race 2, which is on tomorrow at 1 PM BST before the other 2 events that happen during that Sunday. So now Newgarden coming up towards the final few corners on the track, and Newgarden doing whatever he can to ensure that he keeps this lead and looks to try and get, I believe, his second IFMC GP3 victory. I might be wrong on that. Could be his third, I'm not sure, but I think it might be his second. Don't quote me on that, but of his career. So now as we head down towards the first few corners, Newgarden is now on his penultimate lap of the race, as we're on lap 15 of 16 here in Barcelona. Power looking quite lonely now in 5th place, and not looking likely to get a double podium for Dacia Eldorado Junior. So at this rate, what the grid will look like for race 2 tomorrow, it will be Jenson Button who will be starting on pole at this rate, with Nick Heidfeld in 2nd. It will then be Jack Aitken 3rd, Will Power 4th, Lucas Di Grassi 5th, Robert Kubica 6th, Ferdinand Habsburg 7th, and Josef Newgarden, who's currently leading this race, of course, will be in 8th place. That is how the top 8 will look, because like in GP2, the grid for race 2 the top 8 from race 1 get reversed for the grid for race 2. So that's that really, is now Newgarden sizing his way through turn 8 at the moment, as he just controls the lead out in front, as he's looking good to get the first victory of season 4 on the board here for IFMC GP3. As now Newgarden flicks the car in through the left-hander now then, as he will now approach the final 3 corners on the track now then. Around we go. So we now come up towards the last 2 corners on the track, and let's see what Newgarden can do then. Round the second to last corner and up towards the final corner goes Josef Newgarden now then, as he'll head down the pit straight, and Newgarden is about to start his final lap here in Catalunya. What a race it has been for the American. He started in 2nd place and managed to get the jump on Ferdinand Habsburg at the start, and it just got away from the rest of the pack as a result. No one has been able to stop Newgarden in this race, and as a result he is looking good to take the first victory of the Season 4 Championship as a result, and have an early lead in the championship as well. Ferdinand Habsburg looks like he's dropped back a bit now from Josef Newgarden and looks to contend for 2nd place, which I think he'll be happy for, but a tad bit disappointed that he wasn't able to get the victory after taking pole yesterday in qualifying, which enabled him to get him and also Jamaica 2 bonus points for that. And I think at the moment Newgarden is also holding on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, so in fact he'll have a 1-point lead in front of Habsburg, rather than the pair of them being tied as a result. And that's that really, as we now go through the right-hander on the track, as we now head down towards turns 9 and 10 for the final time. And Newgarden is nearly home now then, as he comes up towards the final 3 corners on the track, going in towards turn 11 now then. Up towards the final 2 corners will go Josef Newgarden, and he has done a fabulous job, and it's going to be a well-deserved victory for him. Around the final corner we go, and for the first time this season it is going to be Josef Newgarden who wins race 1 here in Barcelona. Congratulations to him and the Dacia Eldorado Junior team. A well-deserved victory for Josef Newgarden. Ferdinand Habsburg finishes in 2nd, Robert Kubica finishes in 3rd, Lucas Di Grassi 4th, Will Power crosses the line in 5th position. It is going to be Jack Aitken who finishes in 6th, Nick Heidfeld crosses the line in 7th, Jenson Button finishes in 8th, Michael Elation 9th, Felipe Nasser finishes in 10th, Aero is going to cross the line in 11th in the Suomi Racing car, Daniil crosses the line in 12th, Nico Kari 13th, Kyle Kaiser is going to cross the line in 14th, Daniil Kvyat a lap down in 18th position, Antonio Fuoco crosses the line in 15th, Anthony Davidson 16th, and a little bit further down the line, Santina Ferrucci will cross the line in 17th in the end there then, after what has happened to him. But there you have it then. Josef Newgarden is the winner, is the first race winner of the Season 4 IFMC GP3 Championship. He wins race 1 here in Barcelona, and a well-deserved victory for the young American. And as a result, takes an early lead in the Drivers' Championship as a result, because I do believe he does hold on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, so it means he'll have a 1-point deficit between himself and Ferdinand Habsburg. Ferrucci crosses the line in 17th position, and there you have it. In the end, Josef Newgarden wins the race. Race 1 of the day here in Barcelona, the first victory of the championship, and an early lead as well. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the result of the race here in Barcelona. Josef Newgarden won the race with Ferdinand Habsburg in 2nd place. Then it was Robert Kubica 3rd, with Lucas Di Grassi 4th. Will Power was 5th. Jack Aitken 6th. With Nick Heidfeld 7th, Jenson Daniil will be on pole for race 2 tomorrow in 8th, Michael Alish in 9th, Felipe Nasr 10th, Eero Vinio 11th, with Daniil Abt 12th, Nico Kari 13th, Kyle Kaiser in 14th, and if we scroll down the rest of the field, it's Antonio Fuoco in 15th, with Anthony Davidson in 16th, Santino Ferrucci in 17th, Daniil Kvyat, the last of the finishers, in 18th after all that has happened to him. And the 4 retirements were Alexander Rossi, Antonio Bear, Sebastian Buemi, and Marco Andretti. They were the retirements of the race. So let's see who set the fastest lap, who's going away with the bonus point. And it was, in fact, Daniil Kvyat, in fact, with a 1 minute 23.265. So it will be a tie between Newgarden and Habsburg. Newgarden, of course, being on top. So at least Kvyat salvages something, because he gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was 900ths quicker, nearly a 10th quicker than eventual race winner Josef Newgarden in the end there then. But guys, there you have it. That is the end of IFMC GP3 race 1 here, and that is it for this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. GP3 will be back tomorrow at 1 PM BST, and that is it for today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been a very exciting day of action, and wow, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And that's the case. We will see you then, guys, tomorrow at 1 PM BST for race 2 of IFMC GP3, the sprint race for IFMC GP2, and the 65-lap Spanish Grand Prix. And we have some very exciting races coming, and I don't think you want to miss it as well. The podium for GP3 is coming your way just after this. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the last three pieces of action of this weekend. Until then, take care and enjoy the GP3 podium.